it's a good show, but like, good fights. Yeah, and good fights. But in the end, when you're losing the show, you don't keep going. You can't chase on it for 2 more years.
Ready, John?
Yep.
Jonathan King with Real Combat Media and the Clinch Report. I'm here with Mr. Terry Trebilcock Jr., the owner and president of the King of the Cage. Terry, another great event. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Thank you very much for having me.
Great to have you. Now, Terry, you've been in business for a long time now. You've put on events all over the West Coast. Are there any plans of going back to the East Coast?
You know, we do fights everywhere. I mean, right now we basically do shows in Minnesota, Wisconsin. I think I'm in 16 or 17 in the States right now. I'm working on a deal to go actually back to New Jersey and just closed Mongolia and the Philippines. As a matter of fact, the guys who were in the cage with me a while ago are representing some of the Philippines, so I'll be over there shortly in January. But yeah, pretty much to go everywhere. We got a Jackpot Junction show coming up in Minnesota in February, Talking Stick in January. I mean, I think the next schedule comes. We're Edgewater January 5th in Laughlin. On the 19th, we're at Talking Stick. On the 26th, we're at Oklahoma City. On the 7th, we're back here. On the 16th, we're at Jackpot Junction in Minnesota. And then on the 22nd, we're in Fort Wayne, Idaho. And then on the 5th, we're back in Vegas. So
we're moving all over the place. Now, with the, we were speaking a little bit earlier, with the closure of Tachi Palace, and also with the unification of the big shows now, the Strike Force is going into the UFC belt. Are you anticipating an influx of talent within the coming year?
You know, we've always had competitive talent. You know, the talent has never really been the issue. I mean, I've got some of the best fighters in the world right now. You know, people say, why would you say that? UFC gets 90% of the television, so they can fight is 90% better. Because every time I end up losing a guy down the road to the UFC, they dominate in the UFC. And supposedly before they got there, they were one of the best fighters in the world. I'm pretty sure them signing a UFC contract didn't all of a sudden make him that much of a better fighter. As you know, from the top teams, Thiago Alves was an awful good fighter before he got to the UFC. Quentin Jackson, Forrest Griffin, Rashad Evans, Joe Stevenson. I mean, we could go through hundreds of names who went on to dominate. But, you know, right now I've got some top guys. And a few of those top guys took hits tonight, you know, which is interesting. But a lot of shows lined up for this year. Our 5-year television deal exclusive with Matt TV. In English, we have Azteca in Spanish on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. We're going 50 million homes every week. And outside of the UFC, there's no other organizations really putting on anything close to it. And we'll continue to do an average of a show every single week for the next 4 or 5 years.
Excellent. Now, one other question I have for you is, as you touched on it earlier, tonight you had 2 of your main guys, David Gomez lost a title fight by knockout, and Johnny Cisneros, who's an up-and-comer, lost by knockout rather quickly. How does that affect the balance of your weight division, or how does that affect the overall show when a big name guy comes in and the fight's over quickly and it goes the way that everybody else was expecting it wouldn't go?
Well, it makes it exciting because it lets you know that there are a lot of great fighters out there that people don't know about. I mean, Cisneros went on and fought with Hunt, who's been in there with some of the better guys in the world. He's a former champion. And in a war with Hunt, came out on top. Next fight he comes out, he gets hit with a perfect punch and he gets knocked out. So there's a lot of talent out there always that just doesn't get a chance to get exposed. And 2 guys who fought very well tonight got a chance to make a name for themselves. You know, Gomez, Cisneros, will be back. Look at their chances again. If they perform like they've performed in the past, they'll continue to move forward and get their opportunities. But right now we've got a couple new champions. And another up-and-coming kid. It seems like he's kind of turned a corner. He started off his career, I think he had lost his first 4 or 5 fights, and he's like 9-2 since then. So
that's Josh Aviles?
Josh Aviles. And, you know, we actually contracted Aviles at 85 that he's normally a 170-pound fighter. So it looks like you're going to see Sam Lear and Josh Aviles fight here for the 170-pound title in February.
So that's official then? That's
official.
Okay. And also tonight we had a
No.
We had a very controversial ending to the Tony Lopez-Trevor Prangley fight. Trevor Prangley was hit with an illegal knee while grounded. Apparently it broke his jaw, and they had to go to the scorecards after 4 rounds. Is there any chance of seeing a rematch of that fight?
You know, there's a chance of seeing a rematch of that fight, but that fight's probably a little ways away. One, Trevor's going to have to heal up. it was a tough fight. It's a bummer when a fight that has the potential to be that good coming down the stretch, and controversially, but it happens. It's a sport. Sometimes it happens tremendously, and you walk away, everybody's happy, and sometimes it happens like that. I mean, even Trevor, I'm sure, didn't want to win the fight that way. It worked out that way. Do I see a rematch? Yeah, but I probably don't see that rematch until maybe July or August of this coming year. What I do see is some unfinished business Nick Rossborough and Tony Lopez have coming back here, and I can assure you Nick Rossborough is not going to shoot in to try to take Tony Lopez down. You'll get two guys that try to stand and knock each other out all night, and you get a fantastic fight out of it. Tony Lopez will need to win that fight. Coming off of a loss, although controversial, although it went 5 rounds, he might have won the fight. But the fact is, it's going to end up as a loss in the column, and he needs to come back and come out smoking against Nick Rossborough. Nick Rossborough can fight. Nick Rossborough in Monty Cox's camp is as good as any heavyweight that Monty Cox has had. And he'll tell you that. He can throw with Silva all day. He can throw with all the other top heavyweights. You know, you might not have seen him as much on television. We know how good he is in the gym. And that's, you know, the fight between him and Tony Lopez in the first round was a great fight. I expect it to be a great fight. Again, if Tony Lopez happens to get by Nick Rossborough in that fight, you've got a rematch because we have Ricky Shivers in the Shivers is the only guy ever to finish on the ground. So if it happens to go that way, I look for Tony Lopez to fight Ricky Shivers sometime in April or May, and then I'm guessing that Trevor Prangley will probably be out 60 days. We'll probably fight his next fight in Coeur d'Alene in April, and then probably come back here or wherever we decide to have both guys continue to win and do their thing. They'll win each other again in, you know, for August or July or August. You know, injuries could prevent that. Knockouts, getting knocked out could prevent that. So, yes, there's a potential for that fight, but I don't see it happening in the next 6 months.
Okay. Thank you very much, Trebilcock, owner and president of King of the Cage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.